Footwork can be difficult. Whether it's a lack of speed and control, feeling too weak to execute certain steps, or not knowing what to do with your upper body. Don't worry, there are practical steps we can take to remedy these issues. I'm Phi VoBa, and let's fix your footwork. Most speed control issues, such as being too slow or falling off balance, should first be diagnosed with this question. Is the issue physical, mental, or a combination of both? Let's test for the physical aspect. Get up, follow along, and see if you can do these targeted drills. Toe taps. This is a great way to prevent shin splints and also helps increase reaction time and quickness in foot movement. If you notice that you're having a hard time tapping on beat consistently, you may have a slight disconnect between your mind and body when it comes to tempo or rhythm, which can lead to moves looking less powerful or controlled. Calf raises. These enhance push-off power for quick steps, jumps, and transitions. If you feel especially tired as you're doing these, you might just have a strength issue. One-foot balancing. This develops body awareness, reducing missteps or wobbly landings. It also strengthens small muscles in the feet to handle impact from dynamic steps. I like to do this with my shoes off and even with my eyes closed. If you're falling off balance unintentionally, then you definitely will have some trouble with maintaining control. But the best part, even though these exercises may be fairly easy to do, they're excellent for maintaining and improving your footwork on a daily basis. So keep them in your back pocket to do on your downtime. Now, let's address a possible mental blockade. When a dance feels too fast, have you ever pushed your limits beyond your comfort zone? Many people practice by gradually increasing their effort from 10% to what they believe is their 100%, which is great. But if 100% is your current limit in effort, control, and performance, why not push beyond it to 110% and expand your potential and also develop a higher baseline? This phenomenon is called Supercompensation. After a week, 2 hours, or even 10 minutes of practicing in bursts at 110% effort, you may find the dance no longer feels as difficult. That said, push safely. Something to keep in mind is that I grew up with a fairly athletic background, which has contributed to my aptitude for footwork. I played soccer, ran track, and even played musical instruments like drums and piano. This ties into the advantages of having personal foundations, mentioned in our video, How to Dance Unique, but Not Awkward. Be sure to check that out after the video to better understand how to discover your own dance style and unlock your unique strengths. Okay, so we've done some exercises to lightly gauge where our pain points are, but now let's get to the meat of it all, weight distribution. Understanding where to lean and what to lift is perhaps the most important part of footwork. I'm going to organize some of the weight distributions into 5 main categories: weighted, lifted, glided, rebounded, and forced. We're going to use a basic 2-step as a template, and I want you to try to follow along. I don't expect perfection, but I do want you to try to gauge which categories feel the easiest and which are more difficult for you. Weighted footwork is characterized by a low center of gravity, with most of the weight being on one foot, and generally focused on the downbeat of a song. Lifted footwork has the focus on the non-weighted foot lifting off of the ground, generally with an up groove. Glided footwork is a combination of weighted and lifted, with a focus on looking like you're weightless on a horizontal axis. Rebounded footwork is focused on movements that bounce and quickly shift in weight. And lastly, forced footwork, which includes striking or percussive leg work. I hope you gave these a try. Just know that sometimes mechanically and culturally, your body may not be naturally inclined towards them. That just shows you what you can practice more of. If you don't know where to start learning different styles, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial of Steezy Studio to learn from some of the best in the game, like Kid David for breaking, Buddha Stretch for hip hop, Tangolitas for dancehall, and so many more. Click the link in the description to get started. Hips. Let's move up the body from the feet and the legs to the hips, which don't lie. The hips are the central hub for movement, balance, and power generation. You can actually use the hips to lead your footwork, or side to side, in circles, backwards, and more. And having enough mobility here is one of the keys to executing your footwork at a higher level. A huge tip is that you have to be okay with using what your mama gave you. Too many dancers have their growth stunted by the insecurity of looking too feminine or sexual. Release your inhibitions and feel the rain on your skin. I'm not saying you need to twerk, though there are some incredible mechanics and techniques being used in that. I'm just saying that the hips can contain a ton of stiffness and hinder not just your footwork, but your full body, and make you look more awkward. But I guess that's up to you. Would you rather have great hip mobility or move like a Lego figure? The choice is yours. The upper body. I know this video is supposed to be focused on footwork, but that doesn't mean we can ignore what happens up top. What matters most as a dancer is gaining and maintaining control over the body and using that to execute intention. Ask yourself, do you want your footwork to inform the rest of your body, or your body to inform your footwork? Neither is right or wrong. It just needs to be an intentional choice. Try hitting a simple pose. Put one hand on your head and one hand on your hip. Now, do a two-step and try stacking on a weight category we mentioned before. Let's start with weighted. If it feels a bit awkward, don't worry. Now let's try being led by the upper body. Maybe your head wants to snake to the side, maybe you add some pops. Have fun. You may notice that the movement feels and looks more natural. You're vibing. You're leading intentionally rather than getting caught up with the complexities and mechanics of the feet. Let's do something else. Start with goalpost arms. Then do rebounded footwork. Now lead with your upper body and then just dance. Feel free to change up your arms, just use the goalpost as a framework. You may have noticed two main ways I use my arms and hands, aesthetically and functionally. Aesthetically, I do movements that aren't needed to help my feet or body move, but they're embellishments and help express character. Things like mirroring, activations, cause and effect stuff. Posing, especially with things like holding a hat or pointing. Functional hands and arm movements are ones that are used to help pull and hold the body, or even build momentum and maintain balance. For example, certain threads where I need my hand to hold my foot or knee. Turns, twists, and leaps where your arms are used for momentum and balance. And they can even functionally help with bounces. Use functional and aesthetic arm movements to amp your footwork to the next level. So, how do you fix your footwork? Do warm-ups and conditioning. Put more effort through supercompensation, but safely and giving enough time to rest after. Understand weight changes, use your hips, be intentional with your upper body, aesthetically and functionally, and one last thing to close us off. What if I told you that you don't need to use your feet? Sometimes the best movements happen when you're just standing, dancing, vibing. I know that on Steezy we get pretty specific about body mechanics and concepts, but don't forget that dance, above all else, is meant to be fun. Check out our other Back to Basics videos, subscribe to the channel, and take classes on Steezy Studio by clicking the link in the description. Thanks, y'all.
Now, I'm gonna scoop my right leg, I'm gonna scoop it back. As I'm scooping it, my left leg is gonna jump back slightly. Then I'm gonna lean back. As I lean, I'm gonna go heel, toe, step on the toe, heel, toe. There we go, and then step on the left again. You'll figure that out in a second. Now, the whole thing is that your weight shift is lean back on the first two, and then you lean it forward on the next two. You should feel like you are literally doing this in your body.